Okay. Good morning, everyone. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna just get right into it. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining me. If you haven't already, please like the video. I'm gonna get right into your unemployment questions. Morning, Sean. Okay. So I'm going to start with Gloria. She says she's getting nervous. I know you said it's an easy step to go from regular unemployment to the next step, but it's freaking you out because you're going to be on zero after you certify today. That's totally normal. It does need to hit all the way down to zero. Sorry, I got a weird hair. It does need to go all the way down to zero. And even then, it's not going to update your claim balance until you certify again in 2 weeks. But this first step from regular UI to the PEUC extension is super easy, and it's totally normal. That one happens without any trouble. You guys, I got a new computer and I wasn't able to use it. I'm back to my old laptop, so I hope it doesn't drop out the connection because I am trying to do it from my bedroom office again. So we'll see. What happens when PUA ends in December? So that is from Top Beast. So we don't know yet. Congress will have to vote on something and pass a bill in order to extend those programs past December. And with the change in presidents, it may take a little while. They may not decide anything until after the inauguration in January. It's also possible, though, that they will vote on an extension before then, and the most likely time frame would probably be when they talk about the debt ceiling in December. Shelly, you know how in California we certify every 2 weeks? Got your last payment last Sunday and your balance is zero. So that's kind of the same question that I just answered. It's totally normal that your claim balance goes down to zero. In a few days, there should be a message in your UI online account, followed by a letter in the actual mail about 5 to 7 business days later. And then you'll be able to certify again in 2 weeks like normal, as long as you're on a regular unemployment claim. And it's just your first 26 weeks that are ending. Daniel says, oh, he's got to go. He's got a question. His PUEC ends December. He makes $18,000 last year. What's the next option? So your next option would be Fed ED, that program. And you guys, let me know in the comments. I know Jenny says it Fed Ed. Do you guys think I should say Fed Ed? If you think Fed Ed, type Ed in the comments. If you think I should call it Fed ED, which is what I've been calling it, type E space D. I don't really know which one is right. Anyway, so let's call it Fed Ed for now. Let's get me and Jenny on the same page on that. So with Fed Ed, you can potentially qualify for that, but you need to take your personal weekly benefit amount, whatever that is, multiply that by 40. If you made more than that in your whole base period, like the 12-month base period when you first got your award letter, then you will qualify. And Fed Ed stays in place until the unemployment rate in California stays below 6% for at least 4 weeks in a row. So that program is going to be around for a while, but even though that program is going to be around for a while, you can only get up to 20 weeks on that program as that's written currently. Okay, so Daniel, I hope you were able to hear the answer to that, and they'll send you a letter in the mail letting you know if you were approved or denied. Sorry. Jella says, today I went online and asked me to certify. So I did. After that, it said maximum benefits paid you have received. So that's normal when your balance drops down to zero. That's what you should say. All benefits, you can't file another claim until your current benefit year ends. Are they going to extend PEUC automatically? And then do you have to certify after your balance is zero? Yes, that's everything's happening exactly as it should be to get that PEUC extension, and you're good. So that's exactly what happened to me. My balance went all the way down to zero. I actually have a video on that I'll try and link it in the comments and pin it after this chat. So totally normal. It goes all the way down to 0 before they reload it. That program does end in December. So yeah, good morning, Heidi. What's being done this week in New Jersey? I don't know. I do know that the site I check is unemployment PUA for those updates on those LWA payments. And in New Jersey, it says that they have started issuing those. Matt says Mitch McConnell needs to get his buns in gear. The thing is, the last I heard, Mitch McConnell is still pushing that $500 billion package, and Nancy Pelosi still doesn't want to accept that. So with the House and the Senate, one being predominantly Republican and the other being predominantly Democrats, even with a Democratic president who won't actually get sworn in until January, it's still going to be a little problematic to get something through. That's why I'm not expecting it until they could come up with something in December. We wouldn't get that money in our hands probably until right around Christmas time. But I think a more realistic timeline is after the inauguration. And even then, those ding-dongs are going to argue back and forth. Sean says, I was on PUA, then it switched to disaster, then the amount was higher than after I certified today. It dropped. I think the weeks got changed or they caught up from original weeks. So Sean, what's happening with that is if you at all received any regular unemployment or any extensions, or maybe they just dropped it down because they know that the whole program's expiring December 26th, that might be why your rate changed. Good morning, Ernie. Travis, Snuggie says, howdy. What's a Snuggie? Do I want to know? I don't know. Sorry, I do get behind on these questions. Hi, Shelly, Antonio. This weekend, I received my extra $300 all 5 weeks. 6 weeks, you didn't receive it. I think if they're just getting caught up on the first 5, maybe the 6th week is coming. Make sure that you got paid on your claim all 6 of those weeks, and maybe give them a call on Monday to find out why you didn't get that yet. Jeanette says, the EDD denied Fed Ed. Do I call EDD about PUA or is it automatically done? It can be either or. A lot of people are saying now that the PUA is getting switched over automatically. It is taking a little bit longer for that switch to happen, but once it does, you should be able to certify retroactively. Of course, if you call and you get a rep that actually knows what they're talking about and can help you, that can expedite the process a little bit. So I am seeing more people starting to say that the process was automatic for them, but I think a call certainly helps. And I know for me, if I was denied Fed Ed, I think I would call just to kind of have that peace of mind. Although some of the reps are straight out giving people the incorrect information. One rep told somebody that they had to be self-employed to qualify, and that is not true. Angie says, yay, I'm out of pinning and getting paid smoothly now. That makes me so happy, Angie. I'm really glad for you. Erin says, good morning. Andrew says, hello, do you think that with Biden presidency, we'll get that original HEROES Act? They're saying that it's going to be hard, even with Biden, a Democratic president, and Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the House, being Democratic, that unless the Senate also turns Democratic, which it could because there's going to be a runoff, but that's also not happening until January. If that happens, I think it'd be more likely that we would see a bigger bill with more retroactive money, but it's also possible that it's going to remain Republican and they're going to fight. It's possible that they won't agree on anything. I don't think that will actually be the case. And they're starting to say with cases rising of the virus that it is more likely that they'll agree on something sooner rather than later. Adam S. says no PEUC certification after December. That's correct, but if you're on the PEUC extension, then that would mean that you're potentially eligible for Fed Ed. Unless Congress votes to extend it, and again, they have to meet up to talk about raising the debt ceiling to avoid the government shutdown. I can't remember if it's December 10th or 11th, but kind of early in December, they're going to start talking about that. And then they could tack some unemployment stimulus onto those bills. Sean says Mitch will be talking Monday about stimulus. Something is supposed to get going next week. Also, Biden is supposed to start working on stuff as well. He can do this before he says you is in office, but he means he is in office. So all of that's true. But as far as I know, Nancy's still digging her heels in for the bigger package. And everything that I've heard Mitch McConnell say is leaning towards a more scaled back package. And to get anything passed, it has to pass in whichever portion of Congress writes the bill first. So that HEROES Act, that already passed the House, but I think Mitch McConnell hasn't even put it on the floor because he says he knows it won't pass the Senate. And then after that, the president has to sign off on it. And people are saying that President Trump, with contesting the election results and everything, that he's not going to be in the mood to sign anything. So we just really don't know on that. Fed ED sounds better. But Aaron says Ed. I don't know. I really don't know if it's Fed ED or Fed Ed. Fed Ed reminds me of like FedEx. I don't know. Yes, Alexis, you can still backdate PUA claims, but you're going to need to call them. And they actually said the best way to do it is to send a message through Ask EDD. So that's how they want you to do it. That takes a lot of time, but you should still be able to do that. Sylvia says, I just want to know if they're going to change anything because they said they're trying to pass a bill tomorrow. What do you think? I mean, they've been trying to pass something since like May. I hope that they don't leave us hanging like this, especially with cases on the rise. I just don't know. I don't know. Myra says, is regular people on regular unemployment getting the 7 weeks also? So here's the thing. You don't want to exactly think of it like that. The answer is kind of yes and kind of no. The easiest way to explain it is that people on PUA claims can get up to a maximum of 46 weeks of unemployment, whereas people on regular unemployment claims can actually get up to 59 weeks. So the 7 weeks for people on PUA, that's just extra weeks of PUA. It's additional weeks of PUA. It's not really any kind of extension, unless you want to say like they're extending PUA. But I like to not think of it like that. I like to just think of it as additional weeks of PUA. That way it doesn't get confused with all the other extensions. So the PEUC extension was kind of built into PUA claims because their original claims could last up to 39 weeks, whereas regular unemployment gets 26 weeks plus 13 weeks PEUC extension. So that brings PUA and regular unemployment claims both to 39 weeks. Then they added 7 weeks for people on PUA, but people on regular unemployment can potentially qualify for Fed Ed, and that gives us an additional 20 weeks. So really, people on regular unemployment claims, if you meet the earnings qualifications, can potentially get way more weeks than people on PUA. Fed ED does not expire at the end of December sorry, I think I said that wrong. Fed Ed doesn't expire at the end of December like PUA and the PEUC programs do. So really, if you're on a regular unemployment claim, the potential for more benefits is way better than if you're on a PUA claim. Brooke says, I have unemployment right now. I live in California. I don't receive the extra 300. So no one does that. That program only lasted for a total of 6 weeks, and now that's done. Now, if you haven't got your 6 weeks, you'll need to call them and find out why. Sean says, Pelosi and Mnuchin are no longer the negotiators anymore since Biden technically is one. It's now Mitch and Biden are the main guys. But President Trump is still the president until January 20th when the inauguration happens and Biden actually takes office. And so Trump is still the one that needs to sign it until January. So we might know what's going to be in the package and we might know what's going to happen, but for them to actually enact on it, it's going to take a signature from Trump. So I don't know if he's going to be willing to sign that or not. Okay, Ohio Girl 88 says, I need help. Her PUA account says it's exhausted. What's her next step? So if it's PUA, have they loaded the additional 7 weeks of payments onto your claim yet? If that's your only option right now, you should have gotten a full 46 weeks. And I think, I'm not sure your name indicates that you're from Ohio, but I don't know if that's where you currently live or if you're in LA. In LA, they're automatically adding on the 7 weeks. I don't know if there's any additional steps you need to take if you are in Ohio to get those extra 7 weeks. I said LA, but I mean California, not Louisiana. I'm in Los Angeles. So you should be able to go pretty much all the way through December 26th if you're on a PUA claim. I am Mr. Perez says, I only got regular unemployment for 26 weeks. Still no response from PUA. Applied for a new claim a month ago for PUA and no response from the EDD calling and you can't get through. So I am Mr. Perez. Did you only actually get 13 weeks of unemployment originally? Because some people don't have enough work history to get the full 26 weeks of unemployment. And then I think they're normally given a 13-week claim. And then 13 weeks plus 13 weeks PEUC extension would give you the 26 weeks. Did you get a letter saying that you were denied Fed Ed? If so, that's when you'd go on to PUA. If you're still within your benefit year, you can't open a new claim, and that could actually be part of the hangup. I know that you're saying you're calling, you can't get through, but that's the only way that I know of right now in that situation. WOD or WOD, I don't know. Sorry if I butchered your name. Section 8 HUD. You have it. Do you know if they consider your unemployment benefits as an income? I don't. I'm going to look that up on my phone. Sorry, I read better without my glasses. Does unemployment, count as income for Section 8? And I grew up on Section 8 housing, you guys. So I'm really glad that you have that. I know that like they nickel and dime you. They make it really hard to get the temporary federal enhancement to unemployment. Okay. So it does look like regular unemployment. This is kind of like, I'm just going to read you a snippet because that's all it's giving me. It says for PHA, which I'm guessing stands for Public Housing Assistance, page 11 of this PDF states, regular unemployment benefits are considered income. And that says ... Page 10 provides the information for site-based Section 8 housing. The temporary weekly federal enhancement to unemployment is not to be included. So it looks like any amount that you receive from unemployment would be counted against your public housing assistance, but those extra boost would not count towards income. So I hope that helped you, and I hope they don't mess up your housing. That would be so wrong in the middle of a pandemic, but growing up on that, like I know how difficult that can be. So I really hope that doesn't mess it up. Andrew says, Jenny already put up a very useful formula to look up to see if you qualify for Fed Ed. I did too. Our videos have a lot of crossover, guys. We're using the same information. We're both based out of California. What I kind of hope with our channels is that, first of all, I love that so many of you support both of our channels. And I'm hoping, because I know that it's so confusing, even to me sometimes, that maybe if there's a little piece that's still confusing, I think Jenny and I kind of explain it different ways. So I hope that maybe there's still some benefit in us having crossover content, because we really are going to have a lot of crossover content, just as long as we're talking about unemployment. So I'm going to keep making videos. I have some in the works that I know she's already covered, but I'm going to put my own spin on it. Jella says, yes, I thought you verify every 2 weeks, but they asked me to certify again after I received my last payment last week. So there are some people who only have enough left in their claim to pay 1 week and not the full 2 weeks. So if that's the case and you only got paid for 1 week instead of 2, then they kind of change your schedule so there aren't actually gaps in your payment. Matt says, McConnell keeps going on vacation. So supposedly even when they're on vacation, did my live pause? Like the little ticker paused. I'm going to scroll down and try and see if there's any comments about that. You guys, is this still working? Oh, all right. Okay, it seems to be working. I'm sorry. Somebody asked if I still listen to metal. If so, rock on. I don't know, I went down a TikTok hole and I found a band called Witch House 40K that I kind of like. I don't know what kind of music that is, but it was interesting. Sorry, I'm going to scroll back up now that I see that I'm not frozen. I'm really worried because this is the old computer in the old location, which is why I started sitting on the floor in front of my bookshelf because I was closer to the router. Sorry, trying to scroll back up to where I left off. Oh boy, there's a lot of questions that I missed. So I guess I need to start going through these a little bit faster. Okay. McConnell's going on vacation. So even when they go on vacation, they just go back to their hometowns and they're supposedly talking with their constituents to see what the pulse of their, people that live in their areas are. Sean says, if you're going to go on PUA, don't wait for them to put you on automatically. It will not happen. You must call. So some people are saying they get put on automatically, but the call certainly helps. Benjamin says, certified today and said pending for like 30 minutes. Is it cleared up now? I don't normally worry about that unless it's stuck on that for more than 3 days. Bridget says, do I still have to claim my benefits on even though it went to 0, what should I do? Claim your benefits on what? I'm not sure what you're asking there. Okay, sorry. Section 8, I have it. Do you know if they consider, I think we answered that one. Rich says, when unemployment deal goes down, will it be retroactive? Most of the things that they're talking about will be retroactive. The House wants it to go retroactive all the way back to when LWA ended. That was September 5th. So their proposal would start September 6th. I always get the date wrong. The Senate they want like a week of nothing, and they don't want it to start until the week starting September 13th. So it's going to depend on what the wording of the bill is. Andrew says, Biden will push for a huge stimulus maybe, but Mitch McConnell will block the hell out of it. Yep, that's kind of what I think. Chris Bryant says, hey, Shelly love. I'm Shelly's Millions. Not really, but definitely not Shelly love. Okay, Bridget says, I certified today and was 0. What should I do? Regular. It was my regular unemployment. You're from Pennsylvania. So first of all, how do you feel about the Biden win? That was so interesting there. Very, very interesting what happened with this election. Here in California, it goes all the way down to 0. That's totally normal. And then they add the PEUC extension, and that is an extension that's available regardless of any state that you're in. I don't know if it's automatic in all of the states, though. I would imagine that soon in your unemployment inbox, whatever it's called in your state, soon there should be a message in there. I'd say in about 3 to 5 days, and then probably 5 to 7 business days after that, you should get something in the mail, I would imagine, letting you know about the next extension. And I wanted to say something else about that. I don't know if when you log on, it shows you the next time you can certify, but I know here in California, even if you haven't got anything in the mail or by text or in your messages for the unemployment office, that it's a good sign if you see the next date that you can certify. Okay. Akaya, is that how you say your name? That sounds so pretty. Why have you not received the rest of the LWA? I don't know. You'll have to call them. I think they are still getting caught up on some people's payments, who hadn't had their IDs verified and things like that. So I know here in California, they are still getting caught up with some people. But at this point, I would call to make sure that it's on its way. Gloria says, even her husband asked, what is Shelly's? What is Shelly's what? Well, anyway, Gloria, I'm glad that you and your husband watch. No red lipstick today. Something different. I had red lip gloss, and it's much redder in person, but it's probably wearing off as I talk. Will Congress extend Fed Ed beyond 20 weeks? It's possible, Abigail, but we won't know for a little while. And I will say that in the 2008-2009 recession, there was a maximum number of weeks of 99 that you could get unemployment benefits back during the last recession. And my gut level feeling is that they will do that because this whole situation seems a lot worse than the last recession to me. So that's what I think, but I don't know when that will happen. Jeanette says, thanks, you're welcome. Bella says, I recently received my Fed Ed extension granted after, I lost my place. Shoot. Sorry, guys. Okay. Oops, shoot. Okay. Oh my God, Bella, I'm so sorry. I lost. I don't know what happened. I don't know what I hit. That's something else that I'm looking forward to on my new computer is that apparently it's not as sensitive on the touch bar. Oh dear, I lost it. Hi, Chris. Andre says, good morning. Bella, okay, here we go. I recently received my Fed Ed extension granted after exhausting regular UI claim and PEUC extension. Do you know how the amount of the maximum extended benefit amount is determined? That should be your same weekly benefit amount. Not everyone gets the full 20 weeks. Like we were talking earlier about someone who may have only received 13 weeks of unemployment plus 13 weeks of the PEUC extension. So how it's worded is you get up to half of the weeks of your original claim. So somebody who only got 13 weeks on their original claim, I do think they round up, they would only get 7 weeks plus another 7 weeks of it's not exactly the same as the PUA 7-week extension, but you would get 7 plus 7. So you get 14 weeks. People should either be getting 14 weeks or 20 weeks under Fed Ed, and your weekly benefit amount is going to be the same. Why do I see disaster benefits knowing that I applied for regular unemployment? I received regular and the 600. What's up with this disaster pay? So disaster pay is the PUA program. So did you qualify for unemployment benefits either because you were self-employed, you had a job offer that they gave you, but you weren't able to accept because maybe the business closed? Disaster relief, you usually think of that like for someone who's been affected by a fire or a flood or an earthquake, but they also are referring to COVID as a disaster. And so people who had PUA claims would see DUA, disaster unemployment assistance. But if you said you had a regular unemployment claim, the only reason why you would get that at this point is if you had gone through all 26 weeks of regular unemployment benefits. You also went through the 13 weeks PEUC extension. You got denied Fed Ed, then they would put you on a PUA claim, and PUA claim is a type of disaster unemployment assistance. If none of those are the case, they've done something weird with your account. You'll have to call them to find out what they did, because I don't know what they did. I don't think they know what they do half the time. Mario says, I finished my regular claim at the end of November. Do I have another extension after this? Yes. And I want to point out too, even though there's not like a second Fed Ed right now, if you run through all of your Fed Ed extension, you could potentially open another claim and qualify for that. So that's a possibility. So I don't want anybody on this channel to lose hope. Okay. When my regular unemployment runs out, should I call or will it be auto? So the first time when it first hits 0 and you go onto the PEUC extension, it's automatic and you don't need to call, and it's super duper easy. Crystal says, hi, do I need to report my tax refund money? No, you don't. Those aren't earnings. That's actually like a refund for overpayment of taxes. So you're good and you do not need to report that. Oh, good. Now there's like a stupid little pop-up that I can't get rid of, so I can't scroll. Okay, there we go. Sorry, everybody. Stupid computer. I'm hoping the new one's better. It popped up again. I'm gonna freak out. Crystal, I literally can't see any of the questions right now. There we go. Just Pokey Girl says, hi, I'm still confused on the Fed Ed of my highest quarter earnings. So, Just Pokey Girl, $450, you want to multiply that times 40, so that would give you $18,000. During your whole base period, during all 4 quarters that they list on your award letter, did you make more than $18,000? If you did, you're good. Susie says good morning, and she put a little sunshine emoji. Bella says, does Fed Ed have an expiration date, aside from when your year ends and the employment rate dropping? So not a specific end date, but if the unemployment rate dropped below 6% for 4 consecutive weeks, then they could potentially end the whole Fed Ed program. And so it could last less than 20 weeks. I don't think it'll be less than 20 weeks. Right now, 20 weeks is the maximum you can collect Fed Ed, but as long as that employment rate stays above 6%, that program would be available. Now, that doesn't mean that after you get your 20 weeks, you can get an endless amount of ongoing weeks. It just means that, like, I think we talked about the PEUC extension, and some people are going to get that for 13 weeks, but people that are just going on to it now are going to get like 7 or 8 weeks. They're not going to get a full 13 weeks. So with Fed Ed not having an expiration date in how it ties into those 20 weeks, it just means, like, if I go on to Fed Ed now, I could get up to 20 weeks. But if someone doesn't go on to Fed Ed until February, they could also still get 20 weeks as long as the unemployment rate was still high. I hope that made sense. Ben, my friend Ben, whose computer name I can't say, every week they say they're talking about stimulus and nothing gets done. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. So I'm thinking we're not going to really know until after the election. I'm just going to call you WOD, but I feel like it's like an acronym, WOD. Section 8, you have it. Do you know? Oh, yeah, we answered that. They do, it looks like from what I Googled that they do count that towards your income, but not any of the extra $300 or any of the extra $600. You have a chance to go. Amber, go where? John says he thinks I'm awesome. Thank you guys. I think all of you guys are awesome. I really appreciate you. If you want to thank me, hit that like button. I think it's still down below. How do we know if we are getting PUA, PEUC, regular unemployment, or Fed Ed? So people that are getting PUA are traditionally self-employed individuals or those who didn't have enough earnings to qualify for a traditional unemployment claim, or they didn't have enough W-2 wages to qualify, something like that, where you didn't have enough traditional work history to qualify for a regular claim. So that's why, only people on PUA get additional 7 weeks. If you're on a regular unemployment claim, that's when you're going to go to PEUC and Fed Ed. So you would first have a regular claim, then have PEUC through December 26th. And then if your earnings were high enough, you'd have Fed Ed. Hopefully that made sense. Ben says Congress needs to act ASAP because everyone will lose their unemployment on December 26th in California. They really do need to act quick. And I am really hoping they tack something on when they talk about the debt ceiling, which is December 10th or 11th. Angel says, hey, Shelly, I was on UI and then denied Fed Ed. My weekly amount was $450. I was put on PUA and the weekly amount lowered to $167. Send them wage verification documents. If you Google EDD PUA wage verification, there should be a way to do that. And also, I think when you actually get your letter awarding you PUA, at the very bottom of that letter, it's going to tell you how to request higher wages. And I actually think for a lot of people, they're able to automatically calculate it, but make sure to look at the bottom of that letter when you get that, because they should raise the amount. PEUC is 13 weeks, but you're only getting 11 because the deadline is December 31st for everybody. Does this mean that when that date comes, the EDD will automatically put me on Fed Ed? They will automatically check to see if you're eligible for Fed Ed, but there are earnings requirements, and those earning requirements are you either need to make 40 times your weekly benefit amount, you need to make more than that in your whole base period, or more than 1.5 times your highest earnings quarter to qualify. So they'll automatically check to see if you qualify. And really, The only people that wouldn't qualify are people that would be fairly new to their jobs. Like me, I've worked the same job for 25 years, so I know I'm going to qualify for Fed Ed. But if you were with your job, and this is like a rough estimate, but if you were only with the job for 3 months, maybe even 6 months, then you might not have enough earnings history to qualify. And then Angel's saying, is this correct? The rep said $167 is the max on PUA. That rep is wrong. Oh, I really wish there was like some of the reps that are giving bad information, like they need to straight up get fired, put them back on the unemployment, because like that's messing with people. So Angel, they first start awarding everybody 167, and then you do normally have to supply wage documentation to get a higher weekly benefit amount, but you should be able to do that. Chris sent me a bunch of little smiley faces with heart eyes. Congress has to at least extend the PUA and UI past December 31st now. They should extend it now, but who knows if those ding dongs will. I really hope that they do, because I know like so many of you guys are worried about that. WOD Wad says, I thought I applied for regular benefits, but my EDD account shows disaster. Okay, so basically everybody applies for the same program. There's not like a different way to apply. And then based on how you answered the questions when you signed up for a regular unemployment, it determines which program you get put into. Brooke says, thank you, beautiful. Good morning, by the way. Good morning. What do I say? About what? Shoot, I don't remember your, also, like my memory, I'm like worried for when I get old, because what do you say about what, Brooke? I don't remember the original question. Okay, David says 167 is the minimum, PUA 450 the maximum. That's true for California. Moon Plant, I like that name. Shelly received the option to file a new claim due to extension ending from a regular unemployment claim. Spoke to the EDD and they told me we have to apply to qualify for another PUA extension, not Fed. I'm guessing that says Fed Ed. So if your benefit year has ended, then you would need to open a new claim. If it's been less than a year since you opened your original claim, it's not even going to let you open a new claim. So has your benefit year ended? If your benefit year has ended, you would need to try and open a new claim. Fat and 30 says, Shelly, I'm at zero now. Last payment was $80. Not sure when the extension kicks in. I need to make my car payment. Okay, I want you to call your car company and tell them what's going on. Ask them if they can pause one payment. Ask them what's the maximum they can pause payments for. I know a lot of people are working with everybody. See if they'll delay your payment. See if they'll stop the interest while you're delaying the payment. See if they can work with you. So when you get less than your regular weekly benefit amount on your last payment before you go on to the extension, they should hopefully bump you up to a faster certification date. So you should be able to certify in 2 weeks from whenever you hit zero. But call them and let them know what's going on and try and get them to work with you without adding crazy interest on. Martin says we need another boost. We sure do. Moonplant said I really thought it would be automatically, but I actually had to resubmit a whole new claim. So that might be if your benefit year ended. Tanya says Mitch needs to pass a bill now, and his people need to push him to pass and sign something before December 31st. I agree, but I don't know if it's going to happen. Vanessa says, even if I qualify for Fed Ed, I do based on Jenny's formula. Won't this all go away when California unemployment rate falls below 6%? What is California's current unemployment rate? 8%. No, California, at least last I read, California's unemployment rate is 11%. And unfortunately, I think it's going to pick up again. I know you guys, I used to work at a movie theater. Heidi, this might be the first time you're hearing this if you're still on this. The restaurant below the movie theater, which was like kind of the last thing left on in the mall where we were, it closed permanently. So I think that more restaurants are closing as landlords aren't working with them on back owed rent. I also think a lot of restaurants were able to survive during the winter because of outdoor dining. I'm not sure how viable outdoor dining is going to be in the wintertime. And with COVID cases on the rise, I actually think, I know San Diego has 1 week towards going into the purple tier, which would mean things like movie theaters have to shut down again. And I just think that unemployment's actually going to tick back up in these months. And it needs to be 4 consecutive weeks below 6%. So I think it's going to really take a long time to get there. So Fed ED is going to be around for a little while. I hope that answered that question. Patrick says President Trump is busy playing golf and he only cares about himself. You said it, not me. Joe says, hey, Shelly loves the glasses. I have a lot of different glasses. Thank you. I've had a lot of expenses, and you guys all know that unemployment boost is gone. I actually need to sell some of my frames on eBay and get rid of them. Ohio girl says she's from Ohio. My goodness, I must be really far behind on these questions. Steven says, if they do pass the stimulus, do the PEU, I'm going to assume that needs to say C, also get the extra 400 or 600 a week? As it's looking, yes, they would. There's not been talk that I've heard of about a minimum weekly benefit amount or programs where it wouldn't or would or wouldn't apply. So I would imagine any boost that you would get as well. Benjamin says, any certified today and it's pending. I haven't checked mine. That is pretty common for it to stay pending for a while though. So I don't worry too much about that unless it stayed pending for more than 72 hours. Roxana says, I'm PUA. They gave us 7 extra weeks without doing anything. Yeah, that's happening automatically. On PUA, it should bump up. I love the blue paint, pop the wall out. So a lot of you guys know I bought this house and I call it the blue room. Like you can see that's a weird, messy paint job on that door. And there's Mr. Pickle. And then there's Baby Yoda. I just call it the blue room. So I would not be this bold probably if I was choosing paint colors, but it came this way and I just never painted it. And now it makes a pretty decent background, except for maybe that door is a little weird. Okay, sorry, ramble and rant. Ben says, hi, Shelly. Different Ben, not 2 Bens in a row, but the one Ben, I can't say his name. Hi, Shelly. I live in California and noticed I did get an automatic PUA extension. I believe it's 46 weeks altogether. Correct. Although it's only valid through December 26th. Yes, that's correct. Ben says, Shelly, do you still listen? Oh, yeah, I answered that about Witch House 40K. Weird band, but I like TikTok hole. Okay. Rizzy Rez X says, I got the extra 7 weeks, but it ends on December, right? Even if I have money left in your balance. Yes. And the wording that I heard somebody use that I really like, and I'm going to make a video using this wording, is saying the balance is forfeited. If you have not, they're not going to give you like a big payout at the end. But I'm wondering, and I don't want to confuse anybody, but like, this is a thought I've had, like if Congress does extend it, like, is that why they already loaded up those weeks? Like, would there still be like a maximum weeks and they already kind of know that? And so that's why they loaded up the full 7 weeks that it'll go. So right now it's set to expire December 26th, but I do kind of think they're going to do something. And I am hoping it's before the end of the year. But right now, yes, even if there's something left on your claim balance, it would be forfeited. Andrew says, by the time a stimulus deal is reached, the pandemic will be over. Biden will be up for re-election. I hope that's not the case. Well, I hope the pandemic will be over. Like, I would love it to end quickly. Although the way the universe is working, we have to be careful how we word things to the universe. So, like, dear universe, I don't mean I want the pandemic to be over because we go the way of the dinosaurs and everyone becomes extinct. Like, I mean, like, I hope there's a viable cure and that no one else loses their life or becomes seriously sick or anything like that. That's what I mean, universe, not like, oh, I want COVID to end and also the world. Be careful how you put those messages into the world because it's a crazy year. Okay, sorry, another rant. Could I file for Fed Ed? So Ohio girl, in your state, it's not called Fed Ed, it's called EB, extended benefits. And Ohio's unemployment rate would also need to be above 6%. So not every state gets it. Ohio unemployment rate. And also, like, the number of weeks that you get these programs depends on Ohio unemployment, blah, blah, blah. No, unemployment rate. I'm not sure if it for a while, it was all states that were eligible for extended benefits, but some states actually have fallen. Oh, yeah, you guys are at You guys are at 7.9%, so they should have extended benefits kicked on. L. Odegaard says, stop assuming that Biden will be president. I don't know what to say about that. The election results seem pretty clear. And I want to comment on it. I'm not saying whether I think that Biden's going to be a better president or not. I don't know. I think whoever deals with this is going to have a really, really tough situation. But the reason why the votes are coming in for Biden at the end is in a lot of these states, they weren't allowed to start counting the mail-in ballots prior to election day, and you have to open the mail-in ballot, match the signature, and then put it, I don't know what they do after, they put it in a pile, I don't know what they do. But that's why the numbers seem to be ticking higher for Biden. Okay, Sean says, no signature required by Trump for bill. Congress and Senate can override veto. I mentioned earlier, so things can pass way before January. Okay, I'm gonna say I'm not a politics expert. I'm not really even an EDD expert. I'm becoming an EDD expert, but that would be awesome. I didn't know that, and I hope you're right, Sean. That would be amazing. Okay, EG says Trump is unbothered as he should be. Let the Democrats figure it out. And then there's like a super cute rat emoji. I don't know where that came from. Okay, the media doesn't make the call for who the president should be. That's true, but the votes that they're counting seem to be going in Biden's favor. Andrew says Fed Ed might go away completely if California's unemployment rate falls to 6%. None of us will get it then. I don't know what California's, but it's still high. Yeah, it's high. It's high. It's gonna probably be high for a while. Akaya, am I saying your name right? I don't know. If I'm not, like, Akaya is a beautiful name. Hey Shelly, I'm in California. My LWA stopped in the middle of my payment with 3. I don't understand either, so you'll have to call them. I know it's rough to get through. Oh, shoot. Ben says the retroactive thing is a massive question mark. Will it even be retroactive? Nancy wants it. Even Mitch McConnell's plan is saying that it's going to be retroactive. He just wants it retroactive to September 13th, and she wants it retroactive to September 6th. Yes. Okay. So Vanessa, that also answered your question. I skipped some here, so I'm trying to scroll back up. I'm sorry, you guys. I gotta get better at reading these questions. You're still waiting on LWA. You have to call them. Sorry, scrolling back up here. Oh, geez. Okay. What? Oh my goodness. Okay. Can you appeal? I think you can appeal anything, but I lost what we're asking about appealing. I'm sorry. This is just like dead conversation. Why did I get a message saying I've used all benefits? Home screen EDD says I used all benefits. I have to wait until New Year on regulars up. Yes, that's the first. So AJ, that's the first message you get. You must have just ended your first little bit of your unemployment, and you will still get more. I think Latia is calling us little pigs. I don't like that. I don't like name calling. You know, I respect everybody's different viewpoint. I think everybody's just choosing, you know, what they think will be best for the country. And I love that we live in a country where we can express different viewpoints. Oh my goodness. Okay, I can't, my stupid computer. Okay, Tyrese says, if you're on PUA, do you get extended weeks at the end of December 31st? Not right now. PUA totally ends then. Oh dear, okay. Oh God, you guys, I'm so sorry about how far I get behind on these comments. Okay, I think I'm almost caught up. Oh, I'm so sorry. Jacob can see Baby Yoda. Yay! Look, there we go. Now at least there's something pleasant in the background while we talk about all this stuff. McConnell will only pass a bill that's pathetic and small. That could be true. Amber says, I was notified by my job that I can return back to work. The only problem is they cut my hours from 50 to 30. I will be receiving almost the same pay as EDD. I don't know what to tell you guys in that situation. You know, if you refuse work, in theory, they can cut you off of unemployment. But I do want everybody to stay safe and healthy. But just know that if you refuse work, your employer could notify the EDD of that, and it could mess up your benefits. Andrew says Uber drivers collected unemployment because the state saw them as employees. Prop 22 passed, and now they are seen as independent contractors. Will that now have to pay every single penny back? They better not, Andrew. They better not. But I don't know how that's going to play out. And I think that's only for Uber drivers where you proved higher income to get beyond the $167 that they reclassified you guys. So I don't know a lot about that, but they better not ask for the money back. That would be terrible. Michelle says, PEUC was so smooth. Please keep updating about Fed Ed because you're a bit ahead of most of us. Yeah, so my claim started March 13th, I want to say. And yeah, as soon as I have concrete information about that switch, I definitely will like make videos and about that. Bella says, did YouTube change the format? I have up next below and I'd rather have it as a sidebar. I don't know. I'm still figuring out YouTube myself, guys. Angel says, in California, do you qualify for any PUA if you filed in September? Had no idea I qualified since I'm self-employed. Yeah, you should qualify. And if you actually became unemployed before September, you can go ahead and ask them to backdate your claim, but it will take a little while to get that done. Mezzed Up says, yes, Michelle, I'm in that same boat. My PEUC runs out middle of December. So then your next step would be to see if you qualify for Fed Ed. Stolen ballots. I don't know anything about stolen ballots. Boop doop boop. Rename your channel to Shelly's Billions. I wish. Yvette says, what if I lost my phone that had my email and password? I couldn't remember password, so I hit forgot password. And, oh, God. Yvette, I had that happen to me. I lost my phone and my ID and everything once when I was in Mexico. So I was also out of country and it wouldn't like recognize the computer or any. I was like trying to use the hotel computer. You're going to have to call them. And hopefully you have like an email that it can be sent to. Hi there. I don't know if you're still on. I hope America is great again. We certainly have a lot of challenges in front of us, whoever the next president is. Okay, Francis says, I went to zero after certifying on PEUC. Now what? Now you're going to wait to see if you get approved for Fed Ed or not. Andrew says, they say I have 46 weeks left. So what happened? Or Andre. Okay, Andre, I'm actually going to be making a video on that because I looked at the letter. They're not saying that you have 46 weeks left. They're saying that they loaded an additional 7 weeks on to bring you up to a total of 46 weeks. It's not extra 46 weeks, but I agree that the way they worded that is very confusing. Michelle says, oh yeah, I read that one. I doubt that Trump, Vanessa says, I doubt Trump will pass any stimulus in the little time he has left. He's very vengeful. We will have to see if Sean's right and both sides of Congress can agree, and they can just get it done. That would be amazing. Corey says, my 26 weeks ends at the end of January. Is there any additional extension? I'm in California. Yeah, if you see, and that's where the Fed ED not having an end date comes into play for someone in your situation. You would potentially be eligible for Fed Ed if your earnings were high enough. Mezzed Up says, thank you. Oh, thank you guys. If you guys haven't already, make sure to like the video. If you're not subscribed, I would really love if you subscribe, or let me know in the comments what I need to do to get you to subscribe. Nothing naughty though. Okay. Vanessa says, oh no, where are we? Renee says, thank you to do the time to do these lives. You are very welcome, Renee. I really want to help as many people as I can. And I'm so sad that we're all in this situation. I just want everybody to be kind to everybody, like nothing about name calling or violence or any of that. I respect people's viewpoints, but I expect peace and cooperation as well. Okay, end rant. Andrew says, some people were never frozen and had to upload their ID documents. I never was frozen. I guess they just randomly choose people to freeze them. I don't think it was random. Supposedly it was like if there were a lot of claims in one household. So For example, it's entirely possible that a mother and father were both unemployed during this, and maybe they had 2 kids, maybe they had 3 kids, maybe the kids couldn't afford rent and all 3 kids went back to the same house. So then there's 5 people with one address claiming unemployment benefits, and that could potentially flag the account. I know where I worked, like a lot of the employees, like rent's really expensive here in Los Angeles. So even people with different last names were all legitimately at the same address. But I do think the accounts got frozen while they made sure that there were not fraudulent claims at that address, or if there was like a legitimate problem. Like 2 of my employees got their accounts frozen because even though on their W-2 they were using their California address, they still had out-of-state driver's licenses. Update all your information when you move. Some people, it was flagging their accounts because they used a middle initial on like their W-2, but not when they signed up for unemployment. That's like the stupidest one to me, is that initial thing. I can't believe that that was a real thing, but that's what came out of the task force. Okay. Vanessa said, I was too young in the 2008 recession to notice how bad it was. Was it really as bad as it is now, or is now worse? I feel like now is worse. Like the entire airline industry didn't shut down. I work at movie theaters. Movie theaters were open. Our attendance was less. People had less money to go out and go to the movies. So maybe they only went to the movies once a month instead of every Friday night. Maybe they went out to eat less, but it didn't like close entire industries. I think it's really bad now, but I don't know. I do remember that crash. I was in my 20s, but to me it seems a lot worse now. I know I certainly never feared that I would lose my job. Not only did I not fear that I would lose my job, at this point on my unemployment journey, I fear that my industry is going to completely disappear. Now that might have to do with streaming and some other things, but it seems really bad to me right now. And like everything's affected. Like movie theaters use a lot of Coca-Cola products. So even like a company big like Coca-Cola is doing less volume. We can't meet our locations that are open. We can't meet our delivery minimums. And so they're laying off delivery drivers because they're not sending out deliveries as often. This is really, really far reaching. I don't think people have quite come to terms with how bad things are really going to be, at least not our politicians. Okay. Michael says, hi, hope you're having a nice day. Is there more of any type of extensions after I exhausted my UI Fed Ed extension? You could potentially open a whole new claim. But right now, after the 20 weeks of Fed Ed, that is it. Art says, Trump will extend, Biden won't. On the contrary, he wants more taxes towards us. I think that Biden wants to tax like the really upper class people that are making more than $400,000 a year, but they are saying if the Republicans remain in control of the Senate, that's unlikely to go through. Ben says Trump is going to sue every state he was ahead in and lost to Biden. Do you think that he will do something insane, like try to declare martial law and remain in office for life? I don't know. Let's hope not. Like, I really hope that there's a peaceful transfer and that we see some unity and this goes smoothly. But I don't know. Okay, Corey says, my 26 weeks ends at the end of January. Is there any additional extension? I'm in California. If the extension comes shortly after my UI, am I able to get back on UI since they extended it? Your claim ends at the end of January. Even the Fed Ed, because Fed Ed actually, if you qualify for it, you don't have to open a new claim until after you're done with Fed Ed. But yes, if they extended something, you should still be able to qualify. Karina said, I just received my 13-week extension. Yay, she's in California. That is awesome. Although the 13 weeks might not last a full 13 weeks. It's only going to carry you through December 26th. And then you'll find out if you qualify for Fed Ed. Vanessa says, my job requirement never changed at all. Even under PEUC, it never gives me a page to provide a list of where I looked for work. Fed Ed might actually ask that. Vanessa, you're so lucky. And I do think that the work search requirement is waived right now, but mine has never, and I'm still furloughed. Like in theory, I'm still going back to my job. I don't know how realistic that is, but that's the theory. And every week it tells me you must be available and you must look for work. And on PEUC, it's like 3 jobs. So on FedEd, it might, but like it's really easy to go online and just say that you applied online. And if you don't get a response from employer, you choose no response from employer and you put the website where you looked for work. And I kind of like to go in like little batches, like Sephora, Ulta, and maybe I want to work for Jeffree Star Cosmetics. So like I'll do like cosmetics one week and like you guys know I love Tesla. So Tesla, SpaceX, that kind of thing. Like I do it in like little groups. So maybe if you want to work at Tesla, maybe you also apply at Toyota and Honda that week. Like I do it like that. Terry says, if you're on PUA, no, it does not get extended. Latia is saying really terrible things. Karina says, I'm awesome. You guys are all awesome. I'm sorry I got so behind on these comments. I'm sorry that there were little glitches with my computer. Please like the video. I'm going to go for maybe 15 more minutes and then wrap this up. I really appreciate all of you that have watched, and I really like these chats on Sunday mornings, and I hope that you guys are finding them helpful. Sean says, FedEd program should have been adjusted because of COVID-19, not go by the same rules prior to it. It cuts a lot of us off and forced to be PUA. They should make exceptions for UI claims. I agree, and I do think that there will be some adjustments coming up soon, hopefully. Okay, Bella says, not the weekly amount, but I'm asking about the maximum amount. The FedEd I received states $450 weekly, and the maximum is $9,000. So I think... So it looks like you only got awarded, oh yeah, that's normal. Okay, so FedEd also for a lot of people, it's gonna load as 13 weeks and then an additional 7 weeks. And I know that's super confusing with the PEUC and everything, but so it looks like that's 13 weeks. I'm gonna double check that math, guys. Okay, 4,000 divided by 9,000 divided by 450. Oh, wait, no, that's 20 weeks. 450 divided 9,000 divided by 450. What is wrong with me? Yeah, that's 20 weeks. You get 20 weeks of unemployment. That will take you beyond your claim benefit year, and that's fine. FedEd, you won't have to open a new claim until after FedEd expires. Okay, AJ says, why did I get a message saying these are all benefits? Okay, that's normal, AJ. Karina says, thank you. You're very welcome. Michael says, your claim year ends July 7th. They put you on a FedEd extension. After your FedEd is exhausted, do I make a new claim? Yes. In your situation, Michael, I believe, unless they come to a decision before your 20 weeks ends, that you will need to open a new claim. Maria says, denied FedEd, was told to file for PUA on UI Online, but it won't let you. It's supposed to be automatic. You can't file if you're still within your claim year, so that's why it's not letting you. Whoever told you that was wrong. So like Sean says, it is helpful if you keep calling, and you got to find the right rep that will help put you onto PUA. For some people, it is happening automatically. So call back. They told you a tall tale. Andrew says, my PEUC just says on extension and the end date is gone. So UI said my benefit year ends March 2021. So even though I'm on my extension, it still ends in March 2021. Okay, so PEUC goes through potentially December 26th. Then if you qualify for FedEd, that would give you another 20 weeks, and you're going to start ignoring that March 2021 deadline if you're on FedEd. If you're on the FedEd extension, that carries you through 20 weeks, and you don't need to open a new claim until you've run out of FedEd. Excuse me. Latia is mean, and yes, I've gotten a lot heavier in quarantine, and I'm super self-conscious about it. Almost stopped me from making YouTube videos, but I did them for my employees, and they're helping you guys, so I put my self-consciousness aside. But yes, you want to give me a cookie. I don't like cookies. I'm more of a savory person. I like tacos and cheese. I don't really like sweets. I shouldn't have even commented to that, but I did. I don't see why Nancy is so adamant on $600 a week. Just take a lower amount. So it's not necessarily just the $600. And I think a lot of it is she wants to make sure that there's money for testing and a plan to try and control the virus. Now there is some stuff, excuse me, I don't have COVID. I've been talking for over an hour. Coffee. So there's some other things that she wants in there. There was something about cannabis. I don't know why that's in there, and I don't know why she would think that conservatives would agree to something about cannabis, but she does have a lot of extra stuff in there, and that's the portion that I wish that she would bend on. Let's look at the unemployment portion of it now, come to an agreement on that, get people okay, not worry about their rent and their food and their bills, and then worry about the rest of it later. She's saying that if she caves right now, that it would be less likely to get the other money for testing and stuff like that that they need. Okay. Thanks, Bella. I think I can remove people, but I don't know how. Andrew says PEUC should be extended. I kind of think they will. Referral says hi everyone. Messed up says you're amazing. Thank you. I wonder. I was one of the employees that was new. Only worked 5 months before COVID hit. So since I probably won't qualify for FedEx, is there anything I can get like PUA? Yes, if you go through all your weeks before the end of December 26th. Otherwise, they would need to extend the PUA programs in Congress. Also, Lata, my mom watches these and she can't hear me, but she can read the comments. She's going to see all those mean things you're saying. Ben says, didn't Obama back in 2009 extend unemployment to like 2 years? It was 99 weeks. They called those people the 99ers, and I really do think that will happen again. Patty says, my car stopped my payments for 3 months. Yes, if you guys are struggling with your car payments, call and ask them if they will postpone your payments. They may still be accruing interest all that time, and I don't love that, but like I would rather you guys make arrangements. Your credit card companies will also pause payments. And again, I think they might still accrue interest, which isn't ideal, but it's better than having like late payment fees and things like that. Also, I think most utility companies, they're definitely not shutting off your utilities. They're making arrangements with people to put you on a payment plan, things like that. Call every one of your people that you have bills with and see if they will work with you. Please make sure to ask about interest though, and how it like affects your credit score and things like that. But oh yes, Patty, I'm really glad that they're working with you. Sean says you can defer car payments for COVID, depends on company. Interest will not stop, but it can pause for 3 months. Bella says makes sense. Okay, hold on. Is Lydia still joining us here in our live stream? Just ignore her. Unless she's going to give me a taco, then maybe she could stay. I think they're more strict if you open a new claim after you end your first benefit year. This is when they'll probably ask you for job search requirements. I think in California, like they have that like stopped until like we're not in the middle of a pandemic, because they kind of know it's not safe. Oh, Chrissy says that I give everybody hope. Thank you guys. And you guys give me purpose. You guys give me a reason to like get up and like do my hair and like put on a little makeup and stuff. I'm going to start crying. But without YouTube, like seriously, I think I'd just be in my pajamas, like depressed, eating even more. But this is really giving me purpose, and I feel like I'm helping you guys, which makes me happy, even though I look like I'm getting emotional. Heidi heard about the West Side Tavern. Still waiting for my LWA. That's from Mary Jane. Make sure to give them a call. Restaurants are closing in San Jose. Small businesses, it's really sad. No more attention for me. You obviously lack attention. Need help with your grammar. Perhaps you're a kid. This is serious talk that I gave attention to. But you know, it happens. Okay. Your 100 days expire in New York City. What do I do next? 100 days. Skinny Millie, I don't know a lot about NYC. Okay, I'm going to try and figure out how to block Lydia. My guess is that she's already been for Latia. Okay, anyway. Referral specialist says it's been 2 weeks and nothing has increased. I lost his comment. You're near the last extension claim. Will Fed Ed just apply? They will see if you apply, and then they'll send you something letting you know for sure. Magda says, oh yeah, that was Magda's question. Sean says, Newsom passed last week that it would be mandatory to wear a mask everywhere in order to get even served, but no one listens to him. Plus there are now curfews in some states. I did read about the curfews. I'm not sure how much those help. It did this stupid pop up again on me. I'm going to find one or two more questions after this pop up. Ben says, I'm glad car payments are fine cutting people slack. Even if they didn't, we will depend on Uber and Lyft. Erin says she's interested in buying my frames. These ones are not good. These ones are like my oldest classes and they're my favorite, but they're getting loose. And so like some of them aren't worth buying. If you guys want to reach out to me on Instagram, and a lot of people reach out to me on Instagram a little bit more than I expected, but if you want to DM me on Instagram, it's Shelly's_millions. I'll cut you a deal. PEUC, if I don't qualify for anything, will I get the boost back up to September 6th? Yes, that is my understanding. So hold on to your Bank of America cards, everybody. Yes, if they do something retroactive, even if you don't qualify for anything going forward, if they decide it's retroactive, they would load everything up onto your card. Kim in Pennsylvania referred me to you on her channel. I'm not familiar with Kim, but thank you. What is Kim's channel? So I can look into that and comment on her videos and like her videos like I would like you guys to do to help her channel. That's really awesome. Okay. So yeah, even if you're not currently getting benefits, if they go retroactive, if you got benefits those weeks, you guys would qualify. Way a bacon chili. I just got gifted your very own child. Are you guys caught up on The Mandalorian? Oh my God, it's so good. I don't normally, it's $6.99. I should cut that out since I want to be a millionaire and I'm on unemployment. That's an extra expense I don't need. But like, he's so cute. Okay. And I do, I really like The Mandalorian. I wasn't even like a giant Star Wars fan before, but that little thing is cute. Okay. Uh-oh, Alma said I skipped. Alma. All right, Alma. If you're still, okay, Alma, if you're still here, can you retype your question and I will try and answer yours, and yours will be the last one that I answer on today's live. Oh, Alma. Also, Alma, you can definitely hit me up on Instagram and I will make sure to get to your question there if I can't find it here. So that's Shelly's_millions. Is there a way, guys, is there a way for me to search her name in this chat so that I can get to her question? Alma, Bella, do you know what Alma's question was? Because I don't want to skip anybody, but I did get lost. And now I feel really bad because my intention is never to like not answer someone's question. And now I think maybe my stupid live froze again. If you guys can help Alma get her question to me, that would be so amazing. Mike says, I'm going to keep reading questions and hope that you guys can hear me. But my little arrow's not even working to get to the last questions. Vote early and often. The extra boost for August 2nd to September 26th. Okay. Okay, now my thing is scrolling again. I could talk for hours, but I really want to get to Alma's question. Heidi, did you see Alma's question? I'm going to answer other questions and hope that I find Alma's. Last time Jenny Silver